So now that we've got a pretty comfortable idea of what it might take for us to hide our tracks and evade detection once we're on a system, I want to take some time to talk about a little bit more of an advanced topic, and that is the attempted evasion of protection or security devices, namely firewalls and intrusion detection systems, or IDSs, and intrusion prevention systems, or intrusion protection systems, or IPS devices. And basically, you have to have pretty advanced technology or pretty advanced skill in the art of packet handling before you can actually attempt to evade detection by these different logging devices. An example of this would include using the slow, paranoid stealth version of Nmap so that firewalls will not put the 2 and 2 together of, okay, I scanned port 1, now I'm going to scan port 2. Well, if a firewall's timeout of port scan expires between port 1 and port 2, then it'll never make the association of those two together as being part of a port scan. So we can use those slow or randomizing scanning techniques to try to trick the intrusion detection system into thinking, oh, well, that's just normal traffic. A packet here, a packet there, I'm not too worried about. It's going to take significantly longer to perform a good scan, but it definitely makes detection more difficult. And you've heard me mention in the past, hey, it's the guys that take a week to hack a system that are the most successful. And that is very true in this scenario of, in a lot of times, penetration testers will be hired to come into an organization given an unreasonable deadline to go through and analyze the systems. So they come in, they do a port scan, they find a port open, they test the port, and they walk away from the system. And the intrusion detection system has probably picked them up 100 different times, and that might put the management at ease. But what they don't realize is hackers are out there and they're not looking to get caught. So they're going to take whatever techniques are necessary to compromise that system, especially in a targeted attack, one in which an attacker is explicitly looking after a particular company. So we're going to use techniques that are non-standard, even not known techniques. We want to, again, think outside the box here and think of ways to get around those intrusion detection systems. Imagine in your mind how a company might set that up. There's probably a firewall and an IDS or maybe even IPS at the perimeter of the network. Well, what other entry points might there be? An example of this would be war dialing a series of numbers to try to detect modems to gain access to the network in an area that may not be protected by firewalls and intrusion detection systems. Another technique that is frequently used to evade firewalls, and especially IDS systems, is to use specially crafted or designed packet combinations in order to bypass those firewalls and IDS systems. Now I want to take a moment to talk about kind of how that works. One of the major flaws about a firewall and an intrusion detection system is that you have to know your network well enough to exclude everything but what is necessary. What that really means is you can't lock your firewall down unless you know what the legitimate traffic needs to be. So most of the time, administrators and security professionals would open things up more so than they really needed to be. An example of this would be opening port 80 and allowing all traffic on port 80 to pass through into the DMZ and to the web server. And to a standard systems administrator, that sounds like a great idea. I just open port 80, it's easy, I deny everything else. Well, one of the things they may not think about is directory traversal. The firewall is not going to protect you for attacks that work on port 80. A good security administrator might go a step further and put an application level filter between that firewall and the web server in the DMZ so that it only allowed access to the various directories on the system where customers would need access to. So definitely think outside the box. And remember, not everyone's going to be a security expert. A lot of these systems are not designed for the purpose of security. They're put in, usually in the haste of things, to try to get a function to be on the network or on the internet. So we can take advantage of that poor security planning and evade these systems that aren't configured properly.